Hi guys, welcome back to Footy with Wally, a channel where I cover the English clubs, the English Big Six clubs, especially Tottenham. But today we're not talking about the Premier League. Today we're talking about Champions League Week 6, and that will be my predictions. So let's go to the video. So starting with Atalanta versus Chelsea. Atalanta were a good team in last seasons, but they don't have Gasperini anymore, the coach who was very good for them. They still do have some interesting players as Edison, the defensive midfielder. They have De Ketelaere, which is like Belgian number 10, very good. Lookman, who I believe all of you know. But this season they have not performed well. They're like 12th in Serie A, even though they do have 10 points in the Champions League, which is the same as Chelsea. And regarding Chelsea, 7th in the Champions League with 10 points, as I said, 5th in the Premier League. Chelsea are inconsistent, which makes things very difficult when it comes to predictions. But in the sense of quality, in the sense of performance, I believe Chelsea will win this game. Also, there's a huge fight for top 8, guys. Chelsea needs more because Chelsea in the last week in the Champions League, in the league phase, let's say, they'll face Napoli. Napoli are good, so I really believe they do need to win now this game. I really like Chelsea's performance against Arsenal. They played very well, even when they were down a man. Like, that was insane. 10 versus 11, they still produced a lot of chances. They scored a goal, but then they had a very bad performance against Leeds. Like, Leeds outplayed Chelsea. Like, Leeds destroys Chelsea, honestly, in the sense of performance. If I'm not mistaken, Chelsea won't have Delap, who suffered a shoulder injury, but as Cole Palmer is fit again, it might be easier because they will probably play João Pedro in the 9, and then Palmer, Estevão, and Pedro Neto, probably. Unless Maresca wants Rhys James as a DM, then Caicedo and Enzo. In that case, they would play a 4-3-3 instead of a 4-2-3-1. But anyway, I believe Chelsea will be offensive in this game because they need to win, in my opinion. So having said all that, I'm going to say, actually, I forgot to say that Atalanta cannot keep a clean sheet. They have like 3 clean sheets in 14 matches. So I really believe Chelsea will score goals this game. So I'm going to go 3-1 Chelsea. Next one, Internazionale versus Liverpool. Starting with Internazionale. If you remember that old, let's say 2022, 2021, 2023 Internazionale, where they were very defensive, forget that. Like, now they play offensive football. They still play in this 3-5-2, but now they're very offensive. Like 12 goals in 5 matches in the Champions League, 32 goals in 14 matches in Serie A, which is like 47 goals in 19 matches, which is a lot. Obviously, only talking about those competitions. And regarding individualities, they have a lot of good players because they have Bastoni, who is an amazing centre-back. They have Akanji, who was playing for City before. They have Barella, who's like an amazing CM. They have Zelinski. They have Lautaro, Tuhong. I never know how to say his name. Anyway, they have a lot of good players, which might be a problem for Liverpool, especially, and now talking about Liverpool, especially because Liverpool are looking very weird. I don't know how to call it, like vibe, energy, of, I don't know, mentality. I don't know. However, they do not give me the idea, they do not give me the impression that they will win games. And as you probably have seen, Salah basically attacked Slot, let's say, after being benched for the 3rd time in a row, 3rd consecutive match. In the last 5 games, Liverpool conceded 11 goals, which is definitely not good. Just 5 teams in the Premier League conceded more goals than Liverpool, which is also not good. And talking about individualities, in my opinion, like Gravenberch and Szoboszlai are the players doing anything, like consistently playing well. Even though I need to say that Gakpo started the season well, but then alongside with the team started to fall off. And Liverpool have 90 points in 5 matches, obviously, because everyone have 5 matches. Anyway, which in theory makes them still able to qualify within the top 8 in case they win the next 3 matches, like this and the other 2. However, guys, I really don't see Liverpool winning this game. If it happens, I will be very, very surprised. I'm going to say 3-0 Inter, guys. Tottenham versus Slavia Praha. Guys, this one is very difficult because Tottenham are very inconsistent. In theory, Tottenham have been having a bad run because Tottenham conceded 13 goals in 5 matches, in the last 5 matches, with 3 losses, 1 draw, and a win. However, the last 2 results were good because a draw against Newcastle away is a very good result, even though the performance was not good, but then an amazing performance, like excellent performance. I would say even perfect performance against Brentford. 2-0 with Xavi Simons scoring a goal, giving an assist. I believe that might give him a lot of confidence. I'm talking about points. Tottenham have 8 points. So in theory, it's still possible to not play the playoffs and qualify within the top 8. And Slavia Prague should not be so difficult to beat. They are one of the worst teams in the Champions League, guys, in the sense of performance. 3 points in 5 matches. If Tottenham played in this game half of what they played against Brentford, it should be an easy win, guys. So I'm going to predict 3-0 Tottenham. Next one, Leverkusen against Newcastle. And as always, starting with who play at home. Leverkusen, they have 8 points in the Champions League, which makes me say what I said about Tottenham. They still can qualify within the top 8. And they're playing at home. So they should be offensive this game. They should try to win the game. However, they conceded 10 goals in 5 matches in the Champions League. And even though I don't see them as that very strong Leverkusen that we saw with Xabi Alonso as a coach some seasons ago, they can't be underestimated because City underestimated them. And when I say City underestimated them, it's because they rotated a lot of players, basically the whole starting 11. I'm talking about Newcastle, 9 points. Only their last 5 games, they won 3, had 1 loss and a draw. Watching them play, I really think they are getting good momentum again because their beginning of the season was not so good. They were actually underperforming considering the players they have like Bruno, Watermad, Tonali, etc. I'm talking about Bruno, like amazing goal he scored in the last game. If you haven't seen it, go and see it after this video, obviously. Anyway, Newcastle have been having good momentum, but the problem is that playing away, they do not perform as well as they perform playing at home. Like the difference is very clear. So after having said all that, I'm going to predict I'm between 2-2 and 2-1 Leverkusen. I'm going to go 2-1 Leverkusen. Next game probably is the biggest game that we'll have this week on Madrid versus City. Madrid lost their last game in La Liga. They had a very bad performance. Xabi Alonso has been being criticized a lot for not showing any consistency in the team's recent form. They have 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. But as I said, guys, their loss was in their last game. They were basically dominated by Celta. I read it was their first loss against Celta since 2014 or something like that. And another problem they have, guys, is the injuries. Like Militão, the Brazilian centre-back, is injured. Mendy, Carvajal, Alaba, Housing, I never know how to say his name. All of them are injured, guys. And also Trent, he is also injured. So like 6 injuries in the defense. But the thing is, guys, they have a lot of good players. Even in games where they don't perform well, they win because like Mbappe, Vini, Bellingham, like basically a lot of good players. I'm talking about City, 10 points in the Champions League. By the way, I forgot to say, Madrid have 12 points in the Champions League. So now City, 10 points in the Champions League. They need to win this game. They need at least a draw here, actually, to have a chance of qualifying within the top 8. I really liked their performance against Sunderland in the weekend. They really played very well, like Foden, Chucky. Doku has been playing very well as well. Obviously, I don't even need to talk about Haaland. He is just insane. And also because of him, City score a lot of goals, guys. They have 35 goals in the Premier League. So about this game, if I had to explain with a graph, I don't know. I would say that City is going like this. He's going upwards in the sense of performance, improving the quality. And Madrid, they're either in a plateau where Mbappe needs to score 2-3 goals for them to win any game, or they're going downwards, actually. So because of all that, I do think City will win this game. I just don't know the result, obviously. Obviously, if I knew any of those results, I would be a millionaire or something. I'm going to predict 3-2 City. By the way, guys, just a random comment. I've read that City is preparing a huge offer to sign Steven from Chelsea. I don't know. I read this. I don't know if I believe or not. So let's see. Last but not least, Club Brugge against Arsenal. Brugge have only 4 points in the Champions League, guys, which is definitely not good. They have conceded 13 goals in the Champions League, even though they had that very crazy game against Barcelona 3-3. I really believe they are not so good. And in their national league, they are also not performing extremely well, let's say. They are 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, in the Belgium league. And Arsenal, guys, as I always say, very, very good defensively, also good offensively, but I do believe their biggest quality is controlling the game and not giving away too many opportunities. But anyway, 15 points in the Champions League. So in theory, it wouldn't be a problem for Arsenal to lose this game because they would need like 2-3 points in the next 2 matches after this. And as I said, they are very good defensively. Guys, look at this stat. 14 goals scored and 1 goal conceded in the Champions League in 5 matches. That's insane. Like, they played against Bayern Munich. It's not like they faced easy opponents. Obviously, somewhat easy, but not that easy. The current problem with Arsenal is that they have a lot of people, a lot of players injured. Arteta confirmed Magalhães and Saliba will still be off, will still be unavailable for some time. And Mosquera also got injured, so like 3 centre-backs. They'll most likely play with Timber as a centre-back, which is how he played in what's the name of the country? Netherlands. And in their last game, even though they lost against Villa have been having an insane run, like having winning against everyone, and it was a goal in literally the last minute of the game. So I wouldn't say it's such a big deal. But anyway, guys, with all those problems, I still believe Arsenal will win this game, will like control the game and stuff. I don't know if they will rotate players because they can't rotate players. Actually, that's something relevant. Now that I thought about it, they might rotate some players. So I'm going to say 1-0 Arsenal. But at the same time, if they rotate players, the players who are usually on the bench might want to show a lot to the manager and then play way better because of this. So maybe I'm gonna change. I'm gonna go 2-0 Arsenal. So guys, that was it. Obviously, the most important thing here is the analysis because predicting the results is just very, very difficult. That said, if you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want, obviously. And see you the next time. Bye.